Well, hello, gang. How's everybody today? How are you?
I'm doing well. I see you've put the head back on your cloppet.
Yes.
That's cool.
We're joined today by
the co-host of the world's first mental health claymation podcast. Here he is, this little guy.
He only becomes fully animated and alive once we leave the room. It's sort of Toy Story metaphysics at play.
And we never leave the room.
We've been here for 7 years. Help us, please.
Today's video is brought to you by me trawling through the Fundy Snark subreddit at 5 a.m. this morning because I couldn't sleep. So I was just deep diving for 2 hours and, as you know, sent you a lot of texts of content and just thought, let's bring it to the space. Yeah, so we've got a little bit, we're going to check in with Girl Defined because that's important.
We love checking in with Girl Defined.
One thing about us is we love checking in with Girl Defined, and you guys love it when we do that. And then we've just got a kind of a smattering of other content that I would like to show you and get your take on.
Great.
And that's what we'll be doing. Should we start with Bethany?
Let's do it.
So Girl Defined, Bethany and Kristen, right? Kristen, I feel like, has just faded into obscurity because Bethany is now a sexpert, right? She's teaching women how to have bigger O's. She's teaching women how to be a confident wife in the bedroom. She's selling sex courses. I saw something on the Fundy Snark subreddit that was like, it's amazing how all of these fundamentalists will like make a course about marriage or sex rather than go to therapy and like actually process the shit on their own. But I mean, I can kind of relate to the impulse to just make your inner stuff content, and then in the making of the content, if you're lucky, you figure some stuff out.
I allow the algorithm to process my mind.
Yeah. I do my own processing.
Better O's, huh? Is that like, oh, or oh, or oh?
The vibe I sort of get is that Bethany's had 4 orgasms in her life.
Good for her.
And
that's
is now
4 times more than the average Christian woman.
And is now trying to teach other women how to be, she uses the word spicy a lot, you know.
Okay.
She's deconstructed purity culture-ish, but then there's still a flavor within her content of like, what is and isn't okay. But I did see, I don't know if I saved this one, but I did see that she basically like alluded to in a post that like anal was okay, because she like listed out these questions that she'll be answering in her course. And
Bethany aboard the A train.
I don't think it means that she's done. If I had to guess, it's probably not that she's doing it, but you know. Good for you, Dave, if you're getting it and that's what you're into.
Or maybe giving it to Dave, who we have no idea what the dynamics and we should not judge.
Because she is transcending the... Yeah. So, she has got away from purity culture to a large degree, and it was funny because in this...
Or at least purity within the parameters of a God-sanctioned heterosexual marriage.
Yes, okay, exactly.
Yeah. You know, you got to start somewhere.
You really
can't just unravel patriarchy in one single fell swoop.
You cannot. You can't just see the Barbie movie and have a reasonable opinion of it. It has to be, you have to fight every demon that it brings up for you. So she made this post that was like, in this course, I'll be answering like, are toys okay if both people want them? Is anal okay? And then someone commented and was like, anal is not okay. It's literally in the Bible. It's sodomy and it's completely not okay. And then Bethany replied with something saying, sorry, this is one thing I don't think I saved on my phone, but she said, I'm not talking about what male leaders said. I'm talking about what God has said in scripture. And I was like, anal apologist. I love that for her.
Okay, first of all, it's impossible to distinguish between what comes from male leaders and what comes from God, as the entirety of the Bible is, of course, written entirely by men. So we don't have a single original word of God's out there, but should he ever choose to voice and self-publish maybe with an independent publisher, so we can be like, oh, okay, this is actually his stuff and not just a ghostwriter or a you know.
I do think you're raising a really good point that like when you go with a major publisher, you do run the risk of compromising your artistic integrity.
Absolutely.
And maybe God should enter his self-publishing era. Maybe that's what he was kind of trying to do with the Book of Mormon, but I feel like that kind of went tits up as well.
Yeah, and you know, they tried to sell the copyright for the Book of Mormon. I think the third installation in the series is what's really going to bring it all together. It's going to be like Return of the King. It's going to be the best thing ever.
I was going to say, I love a trilogy where the third one is where it gets good. Yeah, so basically, Bethany's a sexpert now.
Good for her.
And just general girl boss. Like, she is creating content. I cannot stress this enough.
I wish we had like a little like what's approved by Bethany, Bethany or Bethany? Like what is?
I don't know. Okay, this one I actually didn't really want to read on camera, but you didn't reply to my text, so now I feel like I have to. But like I'm upset to be bringing this. I'm upset to be talking about this one publicly. But this is just kind of an example of the kind of sex advice Bethany is giving, and it's. Most of her sex advice, it's not that it's like necessarily wrong, it's just like the whole energy behind her is just it's so very tough. So I'm gonna have to pass. This is like, she kind of has these little like spiels that she'll like copy and paste onto a lot of content. You know, she'll make a reel with them and then there'll be a caption for a different thing. This is one of her spiels right now. I think we're kind of getting the most harrowing piece out of the way earlier. You're gonna.
I was surprised that you were gonna read this.
I don't want to. I really don't want to. I just think it's important that we honestly. The only way forward is through, you know, and we have to honestly confront what is happening in the girl-defined universe to remain true stands.
Okay, here we go. Bethany Beal. Your body wants to be free and open and explosive. See, you don't really hear that word in a bodily context outside of diarrhea.
Never. Really never.
Really, that's usually the one. Like, it's never like an explosive case of gingivitis. It's always, you got explosive diarrhea.
I love the thought that she's like, your body wants diarrhea. And if
mine does.
The body keeps the score.
Every morning, 10 sharp, I'm like, you know what I could go for right now? My body just wants to
an explosive, orgasmic lovemaking session.
Ugh.
Where okay, let's just get through this.
Oh, all right, yeah, I was not wrong, not barking up the wrong tree here.
That's exactly it.
When you're worried about farting or peeing, you're unable to be abandoned and free in the moment. You know,
it's like, I can see how, like, sure, Bethany.
She's absolutely right, first of all.
It just seems like something that, like, someone who's never had sex is maybe, like, worried about. Like, I don't want to delegitimize, like, everybody's, but I'm like, is this a big thing that is, like, holding people back sexually, that they're like, I'm really worried I might pee?
I think it is.
I've never worried about that.
Never.
No.
Oh. How lucky for you.
I mean, go pee if you have to
go
pee.
Go piss, girl. Like, take a little break. No, I think she's, like, making some seriously based points here that sometimes you just gotta relax and listen. Our equipment down there doubles up for a lot of functions. It's not just one function. It's very efficient. We got multiple things happening down there. And sometimes different energies lend them, you got a lot of like clenching sometimes involved.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just saying.
It's not sex advice you hear that much. And to me, I'm like, do people need to hear it that much? Is this a pressing thing?
On the one hand, I think, hell yeah, de-shaming ugly, unserious, I shouldn't even say ugly, the unserious and silly parts and just like bodily stupidity. It's like when you're having like intense sex and then your body starts making like farting noises and you're like, this is so stupid and silly.
And you're like, it's just like, do I change positions? It's always such a toss-up with that. Okay, another thing though that someone on Reddit said is like, I think she's talking about queefing, but
also
this is how
she's
choosing to carry on. Let's
I
need a LaCroix.
I need a stiff drink.
I need a stiff LaCroix right now.
I think she is. I genuinely think this is great to de-shame this shit because shit happens, as I was told early in my queer adventuring. Like,
can de-shaming go too far is the question I'm posing to all of you today.
But this is not really what I want to read on Instagram, to be honest. Like, I want to have to, like, Google this on private, on Reddit, with anonymous people. I don't want any faces or names associated with this. I don't want this coming up in between videos of people working on their garden, my family birthday party, and then all of a sudden Bethany talking about farting and pissing during sex.
To help you have it.
She is kinky.
She's going for it, yeah. But finish the post.
Making noise should be normal in the bedroom. Oh, yeah?
So true, bestie.
Guess you've never had roommates. Keep it to it. Stop trying to be quiet. Again, basic respect for roommates should not hold you back. It has never held me back.
No, it doesn't.
Stop trying to be quiet. Get a little wild. I think
I agree with that.
She's talking to Christian women primarily, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of Christian women probably do struggle after a lifetime of being sexually shamed and repressed to fully give themselves to the animalism of the moment.
Letting the soft body.
The soft animal of your body fart away as it wants.
I hate
to piss how it wants.
Taking this turn.
Why? I can't believe you chose to bring this in here. This is usually...
I know, Tana. I didn't want to. But again, I want to do an honest inventory of what is happening over at Girl Defined, and I can't turn away.
We're checking in, and
just
this is what's going on.
Morally repulsive to me. Also, I cannot stress enough, this is one of her core spiels. Again, this was a repeated message that she had. This is kind of,
I'm getting a lot of questions these days, and I'm here to answer. You gotta fart, you gotta piss, you gotta burp, make little farting noises with your sweaty skin. It don't matter, girl. Just have a wild time.
This is I'm so glad we got that one out of the way, and now I can just everything, though normally harrowing, is a palate cleanser from this point on.
You don't need aftercare, right? We can just move on. You farted, you pissed, now we're ready to cuddle and move on with our conversation.
So this is from user GeekLove27 on Reddit, who posted this in the Fundy Snark Uncensored community, and I just thought this was so spot on. The title is Bethy is in her Cosmo season. And this, you probably didn't read Cosmo growing up, but I did, so this resonates hard.
I was notified by a billboard on I-15 that Cosmo contains porn, so... Yeah. Not interested.
So this person said, Bethy's vanilla with a hint of Christ and pepper sex talk is reminiscent of 90s era Cosmo magazines. It's like she's compiled all the terrible quizzes and advice and given it a functionally awkward twist. I'm literally waiting for her to suggest blowing pepper in his face just as he orgasms for an extra spicy sex moment. That is seriously so on par with the advice Cosmo was giving. Just random ways to spice up your sex life that are that's so novelty niche, doesn't seem that useful.
I love when someone fires an old-timey musket pistol, right as we're coming.
Pavlov him with a musket.
The gunpowder scent I find very posh and...
She's all that teenage insecurity looking for validation by using what her childish brain perceives as grown-up data rolled... kind of a mean ending, rolled into a taller than her husband adult. I mean, it's not mean, but I feel like that's kind of a dig, and it's obviously fine that she's taller.
She's try giving a blowjob with a popsicle in your mouth.
That was what.
And while you fart profusely.
Cosmo would literally be put Pop Rocks in your mouth before you give your man a blowjob. That's what Cosmo was doing in the early 2000s.
Really scary as a penis haver.
Also, I don't want to add a sugar event to sex. I cannot afford to. How many penis sugar events is it okay to have a day?
Does the penis ever munch on does it eat? Does it absorb at all? Not too sure.
Just starts crackling, All right, so this is a video. Now her son interrupts. She seems uninterested in him. It kind of feels like Bethany hasn't necessarily been putting out that much new material. She does recycle a lot.
Putting out.
What?
Putting out.
Yeah. Oh, I actually did see her make the take that it's not right for Christian women to be saying that a woman should just put out whenever her husband wants. And I was like, yes, Bethany.
Go girl.
Mickey Atkins, who is a therapist on YouTube who does the best reactions to fundamentalists, she really disagrees with the take that I feel like we kind of spearheaded on YouTube, which is that Bethany's deconstructing. And I get what she's saying. She's pointing out that there's still these very deep fundamentalist fucked up views that Bethany clearly still holds, and in private she'll say even more terrible stuff. But I'm you can't hear stuff like that and think that isn't a level of deconstruction has happened for her to get to the point where she is saying stuff like that. So it's I don't think it's that any of us in that sort of Bethany is deconstructing camp are under any illusions about how far along she is, but it is still significant. Because a lot of the Christian women are still being just put out whenever your man wants. Anyway, let's watch this one.
Yeah, she's no transformed wife. She's...
This soup is 2 days old and it is absolute perfection. It looks so scary though. Yes, you may. Okay, this whole, like, the way that, like the ultra flowy, ultra feminine, which is hard for me because like, okay, Ivy City Co, Jessica, all those dresses.
Sorry, she's kind of launched into this. I should give you some credit. She's talking about clothing. A big thing as well with like these fundamentalist influences is they all really promote the very hyper feminine way of dress to the point where it's just like a full prairie dress while you're like doing house chores, like completely not practical. But that's what she's talking about.
The pioneer bonnet stays on during
Pioneer bonnet stays on during queefing.
It's hard for me because like, okay, Ivy City Co, Jessica, all those dresses, like a lot of them are very feminine and I actually have quite a few of them. I love them. But in more recent years, my husband and I have had much more open and honest conversations about the way each other dresses. And that is like his least favorite. Oh, let's not spit at the camera, buddy.
It is kind of funny how she's like, those are hard for me because I have a few of them and I really love them. But my husband, he doesn't like, and I'm like, okay.
Sounds like a him problem.
Yeah.
Dave. But you know, yeah, the prairie dresses, I get it. So.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Yeah, each their own.
His least favorite style. And he does not prefer me in that. And so
once again, Dave is a feminist.
the whole like super flowy, housewifey, like ultra feminine, like he is just not a fan of.
So now most of the time I'm just in a gimp suit.
Why is it always gimp suits with you?
I just feel like it's the most like absurd BDSM thing.
He prefers more fitted. So I don't know who, like, do y'all's husbands love like the super flowy, the super like feminine, that kind of like Ivy City Co look? Mine doesn't.
Ivy City Co. Can I just Google that? I'm just curious.
That's cause I'm gonna do something wrong on the internet, which is speculate about someone's sexuality. I think Dave is a little bit queer. I don't think he likes the straight up feminine women. I think he likes them.
What straight man is into that though? Like, no, Dave's sexuality is out of the. This is just.
Is it her quinceañera? Yeah.
I know. And I'm like, for what? Okay, I mean, it's giving Mormon baby shower.
Yeah,
which can be like, I don't know, that, you know, I'm not hating on this.
No, to everything there is a season. I could wear that someday, you know. But,
yeah, and you will.
But not my fave either.
So then she just does, this is just for fun, a little slideshow of what Dave does and doesn't like that she wears.
I want to see their like get dressed in the morning TikTok thing.
I know. So this is one he likes.
That is a good fit. That's a good fit.
And I understand why a straight man would like that. It's form-fitting. I feel like it's cute. It's still feminine and girly, but it looks more like practical, functional.
Still kind of modern.
So I think we're on the same page as Dave with this one. This one, Dave doesn't like. He thinks it's too flowy and not fitted enough. I actually think this one's kind of cute. It's giving like a girl who goes to Sedona.
I was just gonna say I'm not too into it because it looks like she's trying to sell me some turquoise jewelry at a trance psych festival, and I'm like, listen, I know that this means a lot to you personally, but I cannot afford your turquoise jewelry.
Right. Also, can we just talk about how both of these I feel like are a little bit edgy for Christian fundamentalist women? Like they're obviously not immodest, you know what I mean? Like,
the first one definitely is giving like metropolitan lib. It's.
I feel like that's like something I'd wear for like lunch with my dad. Yeah. But again, different
lib? Metropolitan lib.
True. Vegetarian dad. Okay, this is one he strongly dislikes.
He does not like the Christian wife. Man. He does not like the Christian wife look. That is a Christian wife look.
And to take it back to our Girl Defines Husband is Awakening video, I think like the aesthetics you are drawn to do say something about.
He's so cute. He
is so cute. So yeah, I'm not a fan of that one either. And I love that Dave isn't. This one, not his fave at all, which I feel like she's about to do a ballet recital.
But like also one that just started after working at her like secretary job.
Yeah. This was for a wedding and he was out of town and I was like, whatever, not my fave either. And then this one, yes, Bethany, slay. It's flowy, but still gives the vibe he likes.
I like better.
Yeah, I mean, it's all relative, but I'm like, yeah, she looks hot in that one. I get, like, yeah, a straight man should prefer that. No, I mean, there's no should, but I'm like, yeah, that's way hotter than, come on.
Yeah.
Dave has good, oh my God.
They had it.
The curse.
Oh my God, did you finish the curse?
We have one more episode to go. Anyone watching The Curse with Emma Stone and Nathan Fielder on Amazon Prime?
Oh, I'm so excited.
This, I just thought a
Oh my God.
funny joke. No, she's just making a little joke.
Oh, okay.
I think because, so they believe in model-free lingerie, because now that Bethany's in her sexpert era, she's all for, like, lingerie, you know, de-shame lingerie.
Yes.
But the companies that they buy from don't use models, because obviously that would be pornographic. So I think she's trying to, like, showcase lingerie in a way that isn't so... Anyway, I just thought that was, like, kind of funny, a little attempt at a joke.
She looked like... this one looks like she grew up in a fairy cottage. Hello, guys. How are you?
This one, yeah, I'm like, you guys look like a hot couple.
Hot modern
I get
couple.
why he likes that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's the kind of wife he wants. He wants the transformed wife in a different way. And then a great everyday outfit he loves. I mean, yeah, it's cute enough.
It's like so modern, but still so Christian.
Yeah.
The tight capris.
My advice, Bethany, as a fellow tall girl, I'm 5'9", she's like 6'1", but I used to do this a lot where, like, you know, jeans would never go to my... all the way down, so I would just, like, do the short thing. But Abercrombie & Fitch has, like, multiple lengths of, like, long, extra long. And ever since I got jeans that go all the way to the floor now, I'm like, I can't go back. I can't believe I did this for so long. I was settling.
I would love to get on all the Christian and religious influencers' good sides.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to argue anymore. I don't want to be like, you're so
I
dumb.
left, like, 2 positive comments on Bethany's TikTok today on things I, like, could actually hype up.
I just want to be friends with them and then, like, get invited to do, like, a Queer Eye kind of collab. Like, we, like, help Christian influencers glow up.
I want Bethany and Dave to come visit us and become my best friends. I truly mean that. So I commented on one video where it was like, the message was like deconstructing purity culture, even though, yeah, still very like heteronormative within the bounds of Christian marriage. But I was just like, I said something like, good for you, that is not easy to deconstruct, heart emoji. And then I can't remember what the other one was, but I tried to be earnest. I just thought this was a funny. She's been banned from sending DMs because she's been talking about sex too much.
It's too much queefing and pissing. Instagram's like, girl, we can't do this anymore.
They're like, this is for you. Like, we're trying to help you out here. I kind of get the sense that Kristen might be a little bit like not as into like how sexual Bethany has become, because I think they made some statement about how like Bethany's sex stuff is separate from Girl Defined, even though they'll still use Girl Defined to promote it, so I don't really know. And then she has Bethany Beal, which is like her sort of main. She's got a lot of accounts. Like, again, she is girl bossing like really hard. And her intimate wife stuff.
Her next channel is going to be Beth DSM.
Actually, I've just realized this post isn't really worth reading, so I think that's the end of the Bethany Beal section.
Yay for Bethany.
No, I'm lying.
Yay, we're coming back to Bethany. We tricked you, idiots. If you want to keep things interesting in the bedroom, try some pranks. Some twists.
I just love the comment of her saying, it's okay to squirt. Like, yes, so true, Bethany.
Something that people are too afraid to say is that squirting is awesome. I'm going to be a hero and go against the grain and say, you're allowed to do it. You're allowed to squirt and have a good time.
It's nice to hear that from a man,
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So one of her posts, this is a big, again, like I've watched a lot of videos really diving into her sex content, because she will do like a 2-hour webinar about this. So I'm like, what's she possibly saying for 2 hours? She doesn't have a lot of subject matter expertise, you know, it's a lot of waffling and just whatever. But this is kind of like a core part of her message right now. Don't wait for the bedroom to get turned on. Here's what I mean. Great sex often starts hours before you get to the bedroom. Here are a few ways to turn yourself on before sex.
Watch porn.
Oops, I finished.
I've been turned on for hours, and actually now I don't need sex, so just edged for 3 hours, and I find that a lot easier than...
Bethany enters her edging era. But a lot of her advice is very clearly aimed towards these women who I imagine she is one of, who, you know, have been sold this fancy idea of sex, and then they have sex, and then in their marriage, and they're disappointed, and they're like, damn it, this was like, I was built to just be obsessed with this my whole life. Everything in my life was geared towards avoiding this, and now having this, and it's just kind of disappointing. And a big theme she's always touching on is like, basically the gist is like, your husband shouldn't be responsible for turning you on. You got to put hours of mindset work into it in advance so that you can show up. Oh, in her like webinar that she did, she kept using the phrase like having what it takes. So she kept being like, you've got to believe that you have what it takes, you know, you've got all the right body parts. And I was like, I've never heard someone focus so much on having what it takes in terms of
pretty much it's like a pulse, breath. If you really want to be a hot wife, make sure you spend at least up to 4 hours before the bedroom tied up naked in the forest with your period blood smattered across your body so the wolves can smell it. That sense of urgency and terror will turn you on more than anything else he could ever do to you. Ladies,
it is okay to have wolf pee on you during sex.
Just get a towel.
Grow up, ladies. You're missing the point. God roots for your pleasure. Here are a few ways to turn yourself on before sex. 1. Take a shower or bath and notice your body. Notice your curves. Appreciate your sensuality. Connect with your body. Not bad advice.
Solid advice.
Yeah, if you're a Christian woman who's generally been disconnected from your body, fair enough.
And men, treat yourselves to a little bath, like a little sensual bath too. I think not enough men are out there like, you know, prioritizing their comfort and taking care of themselves and
pleasure outside of sex for men.
Exactly.
Or just a point someone made on Reddit that I thought was interesting to think about is like, because Bethany is kind of going against the grain a little bit with a lot of her content. Can you imagine if there was like a male fundamentalist influencer giving sex advice for men? Like, it would be a trash heap. Like, I just can't even. A lot of the stuff she's saying is like she's able to say and implement because she's with Dave. But a lot of these Christian men are not Dave.
No. You know, he is personally invested in her pleasure. You know it.
Yeah.
You know it. I know it.
2, spend a few minutes thinking about your fave sex experience with your man. 3, listen to sexy music that reminds you of your man. She always says, like, your man. She's also obsessed with the Songs of Solomon. Like, she'll make all these... It's like the cornerstone of, like, why she's been able to come to believe that God cares about women's pleasure. And she'll do a reel where she's like, when the scripture class is about the Song of Solomon and you're sitting next to your man, and I'm like, really? Are you just wet for Dave as you're sitting there in your Bible class listening to Songs of Solomon?
That is just hilarious because it's like the one piece of erotica Christians have allowed themselves to enjoy. If you can enjoy it, it's like Bronze Age poetry by a guy who had like 500 wives and 1,000 concubines and another 1,000 sex slaves. So yeah, if you like getting in that headspace and can...
The bukkake of its day.
Yeah.
Why do we always talk about that on this channel? Okay, 4, wear sexy lingerie under your clothes.
Obviously.
5.
Or nothing under your clothes.
Yeah, you can go either way. She recommended in her webinar buying lingerie from the thrift store, which had Reddit up in arms. And
that is like the one thing I don't thrift.
5, let your husband know you're coming after him tonight. Grr, I bet Dave's
as in, you're coming first and then I'm coming right after.
After I have 3 more hours to think about my own curves in the tub.
Me and the wolves.
6, do a breathwork session to help you relax. Very interesting, bordering on tantric. And also, I know that Paul and Morgan have said that yoga is demonic, so...
Really?
Yeah. Wow. But they are okay with, what's the thing that's not yoga, but is kind of similar?
Stretching.
No, that's demonic too. Do not stretch your muscles. And then after that, she said, the ideas truly are endless. And
these are the top ones I googled, and after that,
are the top 6
you could probably think of
repeating. Like, this is her post, this is her webinar. Like, these are her main 6. And yeah, it very much does have that Cosmo, like, novelty life hack for sex energy, rather than, like, realistically, if you're a Christian woman in this fundamentalist marriage, you're not getting turned on because, like, of stuff that, I don't know, I just feel like this is not the advice you realistically need.
Mm-hmm. And if you do, oh, damn, that sucks.
And what Christian wife and mother has hours to devote to, this is a point Mickey Atkins brought up in her response to Bethany's webinar, but it's like, what Christian woman has the time for all this? Like, most of them have multiple kids. Bethany has multiple kids. You know, they're responsible for a lot of homemaking. It just seems like the problem is bigger than whether or not you're wearing thrift store lingerie, realistically. Do you want to
love dance music that reminds me of my man. I think she is a closeted ally, and she's speaking to the queer fellas out there too.
Well, she does make it clear that she still very much believes in God's design for marriage, which is straight.
The Bible, which was written by men, it makes it very clear about gender. That woman was taken from man's rib and they together populated the world through incest. I don't need to know any more else about gender or marriage.
Other
who
than
married
the
them,
3 types
who
of
signed
eunuchs.
off on their notary. I don't know, but thank God the Bible informs us about the eunuchs.
Yeah.
And about the concubines of Solomon. Without that, me and my wife would never get off.
Are you ready for some non-girl defined content?
Am I ever?
This is just a video I'm obsessed with that I do think is a really nice palette cleanser. It's Paula Morgan. Hi, Banksy.
We love a little P&M.
As we know, Morgan's a singer, right?
Yes.
And Paula's Paul. And this is just a video of Paul attempting to harmonize, and I think it's wonderful.
Was enjoying her right when she got off of American Idol.
Said to my God, I can't breathe for the first time. I'm still moving.
I keep going.
Yeah,
I was trying to harmonize. I'm still moving.
yeah. Thanks to you. Now I can't.
Yeah. Anyway, before we get to her
I
statement,
love how he acted like she did it wrong. He's like, okay,
He's like,
anyway.
babe.
He's like, you were not catching my vision. He's like, you're not harmonizing, Paul.
He's so me-coded. I love it.
He's like, okay, I can't
harmonize, but blaming everybody else.
Too real.
In the future, can we just do Paul and then do Dave as a palate cleanser? It's too hard to go from Dave
Yeah,
to
okay.
Paul.
I see what you're saying, yeah. You remember that woman who we watched, when we watched Christian TikToks whenever we last did, there was that woman, Farron, she looks like this. And she was just kind of like dissociating and like free flowing. You remember? And she was talking about how like in the grocery store you can cast out sickness.
Oh God.
That one?
Yeah.
This is like a comedian responding to her. It's a more palatable way to consume her content watching this man. Joe Dombrowski, never heard of him, but I think he's a Canadian comedian.
Sickness comes from the devil.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
When Jesus died, he went down to hell and took back the keys.
Oh, he came down and the keys he took were to that soccer mommy minivan, Eyes on the Road.
My family doesn't get sick.
What is her obsession with sick? Like before she was saying you can cast out other people's sick. It seems like she just has some trauma around like people getting sick. Like I wonder what happened to her in her life.
A lot of religious people genuinely believe that their faith prevents them from ever getting sick.
But she must get sick. Come on.
No, she's the type who's like, I'm good. Like, obviously dying of the plague. Like, nope,
Yeah.
I have faith in No, that was like, my faith gets a little too much for me sometimes.
He doesn't get sick.
Of the blush?
And then you swallowed and you felt it come.
Some very intense makeup choices.
She's doing 6 drops of the Rare Beauty blush on each cheek, it would be my guess.
Anytime my boys come home from school with a cough, we say, cough, go, devil, go.
Cough, go, devil, go. Cough, go, devil, go.
If anyone else says, oh yeah, I had the flu or I think I'm getting the flu, you say no.
No!
No to the devil.
No to the devil.
I say this because I love you.
You don't love me.
I always know when the devil is trying to silence me because I get this dry spot in my throat.
Because I get strep once a year and I refuse to acknowledge it. That's the devil trying to
trying to silence.
Listen, head on down to community health and I'll be sure that they will tell you that not the devil.
All sick.
Just interesting. I don't understand why that is such a big part of her brand, but
All sickness comes from the devil.
go devil. It's not here.
That is insane.
Maybe we do just full send and do the Holy Girl Glow.
I mean, like, they know that germs and bacteria and viruses and
they're not germ theory
DNA
people.
mutations.
You have to remember right now the big thing among Christian fundamentalists is raw milk. They are anti-pasteurization right now. So maybe germ theory is just it's not in right now. Out for 2024 in Christian fundamentalism, germ theory.
Yeah, I guess fundamentalist Christians aren't renowned for having a really holistic, integrated, informational worldview where you're accounting for a lot of the...
Like, God is the powerhouse of the cell, that's all I know.
Everything else is Satan.
Go, devil, go!
What?
Also, though, it makes me sad because I'm sure this lends to some pretty atrocious parenting. Believing that you can cast sickness out of your kids. Ooh.
Oh, I definitely...
It's giving Jehovah's Witness, but worse. Maybe even worse.
Maybe, yeah. It would be so terrifying to grow up in that household,
Yeah.
I am sure.
Oh.
My little brush with that kind of energy would be like, oh, I have a really, really bad headache, and then being like, telling like a relative or something like, hey, I got a really bad headache, and they're like... Well, let's give you a blessing, and then, or maybe you can drink this, like, MLM structured water,
Blood
and
of
that'll
Christ.
make it feel better. I'm like, can I just have an ibuprofen, please?
Yeah. The energy that we're seeing from this woman just in her content, she kind of seems like someone who's just perpetually triggered 24/7, but I can't imagine when, like, actual shit is going down.
If your whole shtick is... like intentionally not understanding the world and portraying it all as this constantly invasive, constantly attacking demonic force, sounds like a really high stress situation, like a high stress mindscape. No wonder she is like shouting at her phone about this.
Yeah. Oof. Okay, I say we address the Christian girl glow up. It's the new year. The Christian girlies, they're making New Year's resolutions, right? Everyone is. And something that has been trendy is the Holy Girl Glow Up, as I've seen it referred to. I tried to do a deep dive on the Holy Girl Glow Up on TikTok, otherwise referred to as like Christian Girl Glow Up. And you can't really do that deep of a dive because it's all the same. Like there are just these core agreed upon things that you do to have a Holy Girl Glow Up, and there's not that much deviation from them. So there wasn't a lot of like variety of content, but I found this video that I feel like just sort of sums up what they're all doing. And I just think it's interesting because it's obviously all women, and it's funny how much like God wants you to work out, you know?
He does.
He really wants you to keep that body tight.
He's just looking out for his other boys who very, very, very much care that you're all working out.
Sorry, but complete side tangent. I saw this meme. Imagine if they wanted Jesus like they did a Stanley Cup. I'm like, what's going on in your guys' culture? Like, I think the Christian women are just really obsessed with Stanley Cups, which...
Is that the one that you have or the one you get for winning the hockey game?
The one that I got because someone gave them to me as a gift. And, like, they're fine. They don't really fit in your car cup holder. I don't really get the big deal with them. But it's just funny because this is just, like, telling on their own culture. Because I'm like, the world isn't like Stanley Cup. I mean, it's a popular
I've been
product.
personally saved by the Stanley Cup.
It's not like, oh, do I worship Jesus today or my Stanley? I feel like they're kind of, like, not crossing over that much. Like... Also this one, imagine if people worship Jesus like they did Taylor Swift. I just loved imagining a bunch of like gay Jesus truthers.
Honestly, the world would be a much better place if
I
they
know.
worship Taylor Swift like they worship Jesus. We'd get to actually see and hear from Jesus once in a while. He'd be producing consistent albums, which would give us genuine joy and wouldn't have to be just like, oh, any day now he's going to drop his other book, hopefully.
He should re-record his albums.
He should.
Because, as we've been saying, the publishing industry, I feel like, has swallowed his messages.
King James is like his
been
Scooter
bastardized.
Braun. Oh my god.
We have just busted this case wide open. Yeah, Jesus needs to re-record.
You could actually see and interact with him. You could leave the event feeling elated and transformed.
I want to know his vault tracks. You know that some good shit got cut.
Oh, he's got some good stuff.
So that's just something to think about. Jesus.
Grow closer to God this year and become the best version of yourself in Him in just 40 days? Listen up.
Love that it's 40 days. That's a fun Christian brand move.
Is it after the 40 days in the wilderness? It's like, we don't eat. We don't eat until we hallucinate about people appearing and offering us bread, but we say to them, no, Satan, no, go Satan, no.
No bread, no.
10 Holy Girl habits I'm focusing on for the next 40 days to grow closer to Jesus and reach my full potential in Him, and I'm inviting you to do them with me. Number 1, wake up before 8 a.m. This is...
Sorry.
All the Christian girls say you have to wake up early. I don't know why it's such a big... But, like, Jesus wants us to be, like, Huberman daddying us. Like, Jesus is the original Huberman daddy.
Oh, of course. Beard
Daddy
and everything.
Hughes. Yeah. He really wants us to wake up before 8 a.m., get sunlight directly in our eyes.
The morning
Straight to the
daylight
ice
does
box.
something that no other daylight can do for you, apparently.
Yeah.
Those 8 a.m. vitamin Ds are so important. I know this is our whole shtick, and I shouldn't be surprised by this anymore, but Christianity, not all Christians, again, I know that there aren't people, don't want to paint with too wide of a brush, but it's just so silly. Like, what does this have to do with Christianity? Christianity was like, hey, give to the poor, and don't be a religious hypocrite. It's like pretty much that easy. Like, when you really boil down the message of the New Testament, the Jesus parts of the New Testament, it seems very clear. But then all these Christian
Now it's
influencers
like, work out.
are like fully materialist, fully secular, but just think that they're better than the other people who are
because they
secular.
read like slides, and I don't think they're like reading the whole Bible. They have like the
No.
bits, highlighted bits.
Where do you get this in the Bible? What does this have to do with being a Christian?
Wake up before 8 a.m. Never heard God say that. If it's in his vault checks, we want to see proof.
Yeah, honestly. Like, what are you talking about? What does that have to do with being a Christian?
This is so important.
So important.
I find myself struggling to wake up some mornings.
Sometimes I have just this like unspeakable urge to like unalive myself if I lay in bed too long. I like don't know where this like creeping darkness, like this vacancy in my soul that religion isn't even filling, but I don't really want to like grapple with it, so I gotta make sure I get up and moving as quickly as possible.
Yes, it's very much if I keep my body moving at all times. Like, that is the energy of all of this.
Snooze my alarm like 5 times.
I'm sorry. This is not about Christianity at this point. I've said it again. I've said it once and I will say it again. Waking up to an alarm feels like the most inhumane concept that there is.
No God of mine.
With an alarm.
Worship, no.
We should make alarm greeting clocks or like morning greeting clocks that's just like, hello,
hey girl.
Daytime has begun, yay. Not like, get up out of bed, your Christianity is under assault.
Jesus woke up early to be with the Father.
Said who?
She might have receipts on this one. Proverbs 31, girly.
Proverbs 31, girly. She woke up early to plan her day for her family, so I can wait.
Wait, sorry,
Check.
what?
Where did it say, did Jesus wake up at Googling?
This-
Did Jesus wake up early?
Oh, if Dan McClellan were here, he would have so many words to say about just taking little snitches of the Bible and using them to mean whatever we want, without any regard for the original intent.
Dan McClellan's silence on the Holy Girl glow up is deafening. Dan, we need you in the chat. This does say in Mark 1:35 that apparently it did say while it was still dark early in the morning, Jesus got up. But I'm like,
does that mean every
kind of extrapolating,
day?
yeah.
I've woken up early before.
like if you wrote a book about my life, it's like on some days she woke up, okay. On some days I woke up late. I bet Jesus did too, not.
Jesus woke up before 8 a.m. He took his protein shake. He did his ab crunches. His morning pages.
He always did his morning pages.
If he did, we wouldn't have to rely on the fucking Bible. If Jesus knew anything about highly effective habits of highly effective people.
Number 2, read the Bible before I check my phone. So I have a terrible habit of checking social media before I look at my Bible.
Maybe the one thing I can imagine that would be worse than checking your phone early in the morning is reading the Christian Bible.
Yes, what does this Bronze Age mythology have to say about my day?
Inject genocide into your brain before anything else. It will make the rest of the genocides more palatable.
I just was thinking about, again, like, in light of how much stink has been raised collectively by the evangelical right about pronouns and queerness and transness, and then a fucking genocide happens and they don't have one goddamn word about it. It's just like, well, the Bible does say Israel, so because it talks about Israel, I guess genocide is fine.
I'm relating to that side more.
You're going to hell because you don't believe in Jesus. Meanwhile, I believe in Jesus, and I'm going to hell because I don't even care about the genocides, to be honest. It's just about being on the right team and waking up at 8 a.m. sharp.
Yeah.
I want the Word of God to be the first words that I read in the morning. Number 3, move body for 30 minutes a day. I got into a terrible habit of just not going to the gym. Life happens.
Name one time Jesus went to the gym. You cannot do it. What was it? Last video where someone was keto for Chris Heimerdinger, author of Tennis Shoes Among the Nephites.
Keto
Join
for
us on
Christ.
Patreon if you want to read tennis shoes with us.
I just love how if like none of these habits come from the Bible at
They're just
all.
kinda
Like
like
at
good
best, it's
life
being like,
habits.
oh, once Jesus woke up early in the morning, therefore the way for to be a happy Christian is to do all this other stuff that the modern secular world has showed us to be valuable. There's nothing that has actually come from the Bible here. If the Bible actually had useful bits of tidbit, like,
Yeah.
oh, by the way, it's a little
Life hack.
better to like get in a good routine, to spend time getting
But it's
consistent
like life
exercise.
hack if your slave revolts. Here's what you want to do about it.
Projects happen. Before you know it, like you're not going to the gym at all. I am going back to my workout schedule. Even if that means I'm doing a 30-minute walk, I will be so proud of myself doing that because I'm stewarding my body as a temple of the Holy Spirit. Number 4, get ready for the day. When I wear sweatpants,
Jesus wants you in the Aritzia effortless trouser pant, or he won't come to you.
Not interested.
He's like, how to be closer to Christ, the person whose whole message was like, look not on the outward appearance. And she's like, when I wear sweatpants, I do not feel close to God.
This piece of advice for getting ready for your day seems a bit milquetoast. Like, a key part of getting ready for your day is something that's been a game changer for me is getting ready for my day.
there's a reason, like when I put on a really cute outfit, like a Holy Girl sleigh, I feel like a queen, okay? I
love the phrase Holy Girl sleigh, and I will be using it. And I don't disagree with her point, but I'm just like, to equate this with being closer to the Christian God or Jesus Christ it's just so removed. There's no association. There's a objectively like adverse association between what you wear and you.
Christ, if anything, was like an ascetic who was so removed, if not basely critical of materialism.
I imagined he'd be comfy. I don't imagine him like putting himself in like a form, you know, I imagine him, he's always in a robe. Yeah, that's the sweatpants of his time.
Absolutely.
like I can serve God better. I feel like I can show up better. I feel like I can like love people better. I don't know what it is, but when I put more effort into my outfit, I just show up different.
You know what Jesus said in the Bible? God looketh on the outward appearance, but men looketh on the heart. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, strike that. Again, this thanks to modern medicine of the secular world, we know that getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep a day is really healthy. The Bible has not given us any indication of such.
I cannot be the only one who does this thing where you can stay up late trying to finish something, and then in the morning you wake up early in the morning and you're getting it done. Before you know it, you're not getting...
Relatable queen. You're not the only one, girl. Yes. Holy Girl slay.
You guys aren't going to want to sleep on this, Holy Girl. I can't wait to use the term Holy Girl slay more.
Holy Girl slay.
I need to be more realistic with myself. I need to lean into the Lord's grace. It's okay if I don't check off every single thing on my to-do list. It can always get done the next day. Number 6, go on a prayer walk for at least 15 minutes. So I got out of a habit of doing this.
Is this different from the 30 minutes of movement? Can 15 minutes of your movement be a prayer walk?
I think it's like the 75 hard where you do have to do 2 workouts a day. I think it needs to be distinctly separate.
Okay.
Would just be my guess. I wonder if you're allowed to wear sweatpants for the Holy Girl prayer walk.
I wouldn't do that if I were you. I definitely feel my best.
Yeah. If you stumble upon, someone you can minister to, you do not want to be wearing.
No.
I'm gonna go on a prayer walk where all I do is just walk and talk to God like He was on the walk with me. Time alone with the Lord, where I may look like a crazy person.
You're like, God, look at this pine cone. Isn't it so cute? It's so little and weird. Isn't nature so bizarre? What is this mutant spider here? I can't believe you developed it to poison us. That's so unhinged of you. What? People dying of parasites? Why did you do that? You really went off, girl.
I like how she said she might look crazy to her neighbor on these prayer walks talking to God, implying that she is talking to God out loud.
I think so. I think that's
Good
an important part of the Holy Girl sleigh. When you're just walking around talking to your imaginary friend, being like, remember that time when you drowned every person, man, child, woman, fetus, and animal on the planet?
You're so real for that.
Holy Girl slayed them.
However, I am just lifting all my anxieties to Him. It's just such a good reset for my day. Number 7, read biblical affirmations every morning.
Just like I don't even know but like the capitalism of it all, like affirmations have just been sold to us as this way to like combat the way that our society is fundamentally like crumbling and not so. And then it's just like biblical affirmations. We'll take this thing that's
this modern digital concept and portray it finagle the Bible to fit that model.
But yeah, just I mean, the whole thing is just literally, it's like the modern aloe yoga girl, but just like packaged into
But for Christ.
the God of Israel.
Secularism for Christ.
Yeah.
Sometimes I struggle to see myself the way that God sees me. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to look at myself in the mirror, and if I feel a negative thought, I'm going to
Speak God.
They think you're a huge whore dressed like that in the Bible, I guarantee it. Like in the Bible, it's like if you just look hot, then like you're a Jezebel, you're a harlot, you led these men away, even though they like captured you and you're like their prisoner. So I just feel like she wouldn't do that well in the Bible. Like it would be a bad time for her as a woman. Because, I mean, gorgeous girl.
It's a bad time for women all around.
It almost seems better to not be hot, honestly, because you just get labeled a...
If anything, she's probably going against God's word, as we are all part of the body of Christ, the church, as it were, and women are not supposed to... Technically, women are not supposed to be...
straight up talking, her face is uncovered. Like, there are so many things wrong with this. Like,
Girl,
I want to see,
do your biblical affirmations today. Women should not speak in church.
Holy girl glow up is just, like, going mute, covering your face, and then walking out of frame. Like, that would be the truth.
We should do a Holy Girl Glow Up movie video with...
Yeah.
word over that thought. I'm going to say, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm just going to speak over myself that are already in the word of God. I have a free download for you in the link in my bio, so just go check that out. Number 8, nourish my body with healthy whole foods from God's green earth. When I eat processed foods too much, you guys, I just feel like a slug and I'm not showing up well. I'm going to really be intentional about feeding my body with the foods that are going to give myself the fuel to live out the purpose that God has called me to.
Just interesting because, again, it's 40 days, mimicking the 40-day fasting.
Is she going to do the full biblical diet where it's like no shellfish, no cloven hooves?
I'm like, fucking commit. Do the 40-day fast. Like, that would be the real slay here.
Prove your faith.
Yeah.
Prove that it's an inch more deep than basic internet materialism.
Yeah, she's just like an Air One poster child.
Number 9, dedicate time to God-sized dreams. Oftentimes it is easy to let other people's priorities and other people's agenda go onto your plate. And before you know it, you are not focusing on the things that God has called you to do. I am going to set time aside to focus on the dreams and the visions that God has given me.
Like, the only thing it's really appropriate to have in terms of a big dream as a woman is like be a submissive wife or mother.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Submissive, braidable, queefable.
God didn't say anything about processed foods.
Remember, you're daughters of God, queef queens.
Daughters in Christ.
Number 10, journaling what God teaches me. Journaling is so powerful because I'm able to look back on my old journals and see all the prayers that God answered, all the ways.
That comes back to bite you if you ever leave the religion, let me tell you. That becomes a harrowing experience and you have to burn them.
Because I love a good bonus, I'm going to also focus on getting in Christian community. So I am going to step out of my comfort zone if I'm invited somewhere with other believers.
She's talking about getting in with Christian community and stepping out of her comfort zone. How do I step out of my comfort zone? Well, the first thing I like to do is surround myself with people who believe identically to the same exact things that I do. Also, first and foremost.
You would think that would kind of make it into the original 10, but that's like the bonus one, like community, one of the most important parts of our lives.
Again, these are all things that are just very basic self-improvement.
Except for the Bible.
That are just getting rebranded as Christians somehow. Jesus doesn't want us to actually be like him. He wants us to be very modern. He wants us to be like Andrew Huberman.
Yep. Jesus wants us in a full, tight-fitting leotard. He wants us drinking the Hailey Bieber smoothie.
First and foremost, that's how every good Christian starts their day. It's basically
with
sacrament at this point to me.
Yeah.
blood of Christ. Don't mind if I do.
The Hailey Bieber smoothie is pink and has a red blood. Never mind. That's the Christian Goggle Up. So that's just some food for thought.
Wow. We've had our own Christian Goggle Up, I feel like.
We really have.
Holy girl slay all the way, all day, every day.
Do you want to show your shirt?
Found this at Savers, and I feel like it's
Don't talk to him until he's had his adrenochrome. Oh God, you are going to get posted on a website. Well, thank you guys for joining us. It was nice to catch up with the fundies.
Always so nice. If you know evangelical Christian influencer in your Christian community who would like us to queer eye them for little to no money, let us know.
If you would like to give us money, we do rely on donations to keep this channel going. You can find all our links in the description box. We're currently reading Mormon tween fiction on Patreon.
And of course, keep keep raising hell about Gaza and trying to get your local and federal leaders to support a ceasefire, donate money where you can. I feel like it's just the crux of like the worst case scenario of all the bad things that we're constantly talking about in living reality. And it is terrifying how many Christians are just like, this is what Jesus was about. He was about doing your morning routine. He was about making them big bucks for his glory and about ignoring genocide whenever it happens, unless it's done by his chosen people of, circa 2,000 years ago.
It's funny because the Christians will be the first to be like, fuck the government. But then it's like, you guys are really on the government side on this one. So.
Same with cops. I'm like, don't tread on me.
I know. Military. It's like, you're actually saying you really do like the government because anytime it meaningfully matters, you seem to be on their team. We'll leave you there.
Okay. Love you so much.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Thank you.